Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to my class. Today we're going to be learning about living with heart. So, what does that mean, to live with heart? First, it takes a quiet mind, a faith in the unknown, and a trust in yourself. It certainly has its challenges, and it comes along with risks. But if you listen closely, these are the lessons that were meant to teach you along the way. As a third grade teacher, I cherish the opportunities to connect with students, teach them about the world around them, see them discover the gifts and talents within themselves. I remember a day when my class was presenting projects on the westward expansion they had worked on for weeks. One particular kiddo was terrified to speak in front of his peers. Not that I can relate. In fact, he started with his back to the class. He didn't want to look anyone in the eye. I thought it wasn't going to happen at all. After offering words of encouragement and asking probing questions, this student soon started to open up, and by the end, the rest of the class and I were riveted and knew more about the origin and meaning behind the Native American teepee than we had ever known. Not only did the student become the teacher that day, but I, the teacher, became the student. What did I learn from that moment and the countless other moments in my classroom like this? What did that courageous student teach me? To take risks, to overcome my doubt and fear, to step outside that which I thought was my set plan for life, to live with heart. After 12 years, I decided to step away from teaching, continuing to live as a student in this classroom of life. Following my heart was a risk, but I knew I had to have that faith in the unknown. Now, I have a job working as a legislative assistant. I learn about the leaders and the essential work they do in the community. My boss shows me what it means to be an open-minded and fair representative of this district in which we live. Yes. I serve our constituents when they need help navigating state agencies, all while learning alongside them. A couple years ago, our office was invited to participate in Community Day for the kindergartners at the same school where I had taught. We brought a colorful display board explaining the legislative process and tallied the votes as we asked the students to be a lawmaker and vote on whether or not they would want extra recess and a later dismissal time. Their answers were thoughtful, and their reasons varied from, I gotta get my wiggles out, to, I can't miss my Russian lesson after school. Not only that, I soon found out this very topic was discussed at the next school board meeting. Here I was in my new role, working in state government, still learning and living with heart. Seeing those children learn about a system that serves them made me feel like I had come full circle. As my career path was progressing, what was I learning in my personal life? Well, after a bitter divorce and becoming a single mom, I knew I had to find the strength and courage within me to overcome the darkest time of my life. How was I going to do it all by myself? How was I going to emotionally bounce back from the feelings of being an inadequate mother and wife? I realized I could not have done it without my faith in God, the love and support of my family and friends, babysitters, drivers, dog watchers, open ears and shoulders to cry on. I was never alone. This was also a time for me to discover my capacity to live with heart. My heart was in my son, my friends, my family, my faith, my community, and myself. What did I need a partner for? Being single allowed me the independence and focus toward a more authentic me. After making a career shift, I had learned about the extraordinary people and organizations in our area and realizing what gifts I have to offer. So, what challenge laid ahead of me in this new post-divorce skin? Dating. For 6 years, it was pretty much non-existent. I had resigned to the fact I could die an old maid, and I was fine with it. Online dating wasn't for me, and although I was constantly meeting new people, no one seemed to fit the bill. A dear friend of mine told me to spell out what I was looking for in a partner and throw it into the universe. So that's what I did. The list was a work in progress for a couple years as it grew to have the obvious quality traits such as open, honest, compassionate. But as time wore on, I went on to add bonus traits such as tech savvy and handy around the house. Well, as fate would have it, I met someone a little over a year and a half ago. Thank you. We're still figuring things out, but the biggest lesson was that because I followed my heart and I was patient, the universe brought me someone who came remarkably close to possessing those quality traits I'd spelled out on my list. He's a reflection of those things I value and makes me strive to be a better person. We shall see how the rest of our story unfolds. Now, don't let me fool you into thinking we have some sort of Disney happy ending to our story. It comes with its fair share of ups and downs, twists and turns. In fact, one plot twist happened to us last June. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm fine for the most part. The worst is behind me, and having learned all the lessons I've learned through the challenges of my past, I knew the only option I had was to find the reasons this was happening to me. I most definitely found them. Lesson number 1, to continue to practice leaning on my friends and family. One of the best pieces of advice I received through my journey was let people help you. It helps them. So true, and I am forever grateful for this reminder as I continue to apply it to today. Second, it gave me a message to share. Girls, check your girls. Guys, remind your girls to check their girls. Spread this sage advice to all those you love, because this terrible disease is more prevalent than anyone wishes it to be. As dismal as that sounds, remember we also live in a time when it's more treatable than ever. Early detection is key. Lastly, the most significant lesson in all of this, timing. I learned there is something much bigger than me that orchestrated this all to happen when it did. I was always on the go, and my body was telling me to slow down, and I have. But more significantly, right in the middle of all this happening, my partner and I decided to take a big step forward as he uprooted his life and moved 1,200 miles to live back here in his hometown. Yay! I could not have gone through this, my diagnosis, surgery, and treatment with strength and confidence without his support. I still can't. So, looking back at how all the pieces of my life fit together to create the story which brought me to this very spot on which I stand, I've learned I must look at the world through the lens of a student, deriving the lessons from the highs and lows of this marvelous human experience as I live with heart. I choose to take risks, to challenge myself, which might bring me to a low, only knowing I'll have that much higher to climb as time passes. That's how I will grow, that's how I will learn, and hopefully in some small way, that's how I will teach to live with heart.